High enough above it, the view is cars and cars and cars. 100,000 people. So big the number is meaningless. Too expansive to wrap my head around. From up here, the cars and vans and buses are tiny white rectangles half the size of a pinky nail, reflecting sun back into the sky. Mosaic tiles pieced across a half dozen parking lots that are really just fields separated by wide stands of woods. Drive down closer and the details start filling themselves in. Balloons and kites and flags flying from antennas, tie-dyed sprawl. Down and down until you lose the scope of it. Down to where the cars have colors. Reds and blues and greens and golds. And everywhere between them, people moving and playing and selling what they sell. Walking the lot with one finger in the air, right hand finger up, looking for a ticket. Banging drums and strumming on guitars. Kicking hacky sacks and throwing frisbees. Down close you can hear it, smell it too, patchouli winds. The main road through the farthest back field is lined on both sides with pop-up vending tents. It stops at the trees and picks up again on the other side, Shakedown Street. Rolled out like a third world market, feed your belly or feed your Jones. Whatever you need, it's all right here, Grateful Dead land. At the top of the hill on the farthest back field, there's Bertha, sloped down lopsided on her donut spare, the way a dog sits, a little uneven, with its weight on one hind leg. Traffic was backed up and down the hills in a solid single-file line through fresh-mown fields, all the way to the edge of the lot and out into the road in both directions. Rolling and slow, but still quick enough to fill a half dozen places past Bertha by the time I got my feet on the grass. My toes pushed into the earth and left 10 little imprints. The ground was barely a day past mud. Not wet, but definitely not fully dried out either. Thick clay, sculpty under my soles. I stretched my arms and legs, reaching like it was the end of a 500-mile drive, even though we'd only been on the road an hour. Reached up as far as I could, tipping my head back to a full hit of sun on my face. October got out and made a mirror of me. Her head, arms, and leg. Her head back, arms and legs stretched out too, but longer than mine. Everything about her long and lean. Thin fingers, skinny feet. Her hair cut pixie short, and she had the sparrow-bone face to pull it off. Home again, she said, jiggity jig. Same as she always said when she got back to our house after a road trip, or when we got on the lot after a show. And it was home to her like no one else I knew. October went to Woodstock inside her mama's belly. She was a second-generation freak. Born in a bathtub that was really an old feed trough, filled with water they heated on a wood cook stove, 8 miles off the pavement down in Athens County dirt track. October, Athena, Evening Star, Lupine Crescent, Fitzgerald Jones. Her whole birth story sprawled out in a name, month, place, time of day, and the dried flowers on the table next to the tub. All her possible parents represented. Fitzgerald Jones for her mom and dad, but her mom was never 100% on Jones, so Crescent is a little nod to the maybe guy. They were living back to the land, a 150-acre commune that eventually got sliced up 5 ways and pieced out to the founders. October's parents went halfway normal and took teaching jobs in town at OU. They widened the road back into the property, laid gravel on it, and built a glass front A-frame with electricity and plumbing right beside the cabin where October was born. Her mom was dean of something, entomology, I don't know. But they'd still burn a couple with us every time they came down to visit. They were probably out here somewhere. Bertha's short noontime shadow made a little shade on my feet, and on October's, sun and sweat were all over the rest of me, and the heat and the quick head rush of stretching felt more stoned than I really was. Home again, I said, jiggity jog.